Why didn't you ever tell me? I screamed, my voice cracking like glass under pressure as I glared at him. Why did you bury this from me for so damn long? And now Mom's gone, gone forever, and I can't even hear her voice, can't even ask her why. Tears burned my eyes, my chest heaving with sobs I couldn't hold back. My dad sat there, motionless in the driver's seat, his hands clenched so tight around the steering wheel that his knuckles turned ghostly white. He parted his lips as if to speak. But nothing came, just the suffocating silence between us. The car was parked on some quiet, forgotten street, the low hum of the engine buzzing like a cruel heartbeat in the stillness. I couldn't breathe right. It felt like the world had shattered beneath me, leaving me dangling over an abyss. My name's Lily, and I just turned 18. This was supposed to be a good day, my day, a burst of joy, a new beginning. Instead, I'm trapped in this car with my dad, unraveling secrets that claw at my soul. This road trip from Seattle to San Francisco started so differently, full of light, laughter, and the open road stretching out like a promise. We'd shared stories, the kind that made me feel close to him for once, the kind that stitched us together after years of fraying threads. I thought this was it, his way of reaching out, of mending what broke when Mom died 2 years ago. He'd been trying lately, in his clumsy way, awkward dinners, stilted small talk about my grades, the rare compliment that felt like a lifeline. But a road trip? Just us? That was so unlike him, I almost turned it down. Yet there was something in his eyes that morning when he handed me the map and keys, a flicker of hope, maybe desperation, that pulled me in. The first hours were sweet, almost healing. We talked about my favorite songs, pit stops we'd make, even Mom. He kept bringing her up, more than ever before. And though it stung, it warmed me too, like her memory was riding along with us. But as the miles rolled by, the air grew heavy. His words turned into apologies. Endless and raw, sorry for how he'd treated me, sorry for regrets he couldn't name, sorry for everything he wished he'd done differently. I brushed it off at first, thinking it was just his grief spilling out. But the closer we got to San Francisco, the more I felt it. Something big was coming, a shadow creeping over us. That first night, we crashed at a dingy roadside motel, barely a step up from nothing. A creaky bed, a heater that wheezed more than it warmed, a vending machine droning outside like a restless ghost. We grabbed dinner at a diner nearby, the kind with flickering fluorescent lights that made everything feel cold and hollow. I could see Dad trying to keep it light, cracking weak jokes. But his eyes betrayed him, dark, heavy, hiding something. You okay, Dad? I asked, picking at my fries. He froze, fork halfway to his mouth, then muttered, yeah, with a voice that didn't believe itself. He forced a smile, tight and thin. Just tired, Lil. Long day. I nodded, but doubt gnawed at me. He was lying. I could feel it. And this trip was starting to feel less like a birthday gift and more like a confession waiting to spill. Back at the motel, I kicked off my shoes and perched on the bed, watching him shrug off his jacket and drape it over a chair. The silence stretched, thick and unbearable, broken only by the heater's pitiful hum. I couldn't take it anymore. Dad, I said, softer this time, why do I feel like you're hiding something? He stopped dead, his back to me, and let out a sigh that seemed to carry years of weight. It's not the right time, Lily, he said, shaking his head. We'll talk in San Francisco. He turned, and I saw it, fear in his eyes, raw and unguarded. Why not now? I pressed, my voice rising. We're here, just us. If you've got something to say, say it. He scrubbed his hands over his face and sank into the chair, heavy and defeated. It's complicated, Lil. I've messed up big time. Things I can't undo. Your mom, she knew how to fix everything, make it right. I didn't. When she was gone, I didn't know how to be what you needed. His voice cracked, and my heart thudded hard. What are you talking about? I leaned forward, desperate. You've been trying, I see it. It's not perfect, but why are you tearing yourself apart like this? He laughed, a bitter, broken sound. Trying's not enough, not after everything. I wish I could go back, do it all over. I was drowning in my own pain, my own failures, and he stopped, staring at his hands like they held all his shame. I don't want you to think I didn't love you, Lily. I did. Your mom and I both did. But there were days I didn't know how to show it. I sank back, stunned, his honesty slicing through me. Dad, I whispered, I don't know what to say. He gave me a sad, trembling smile. You don't have to say anything, kiddo. Just know this trip. Everything I'm about to tell you. It's because I want to make it right. That night, as his breathing steadied into sleep, I lay awake, staring at the cracked ceiling. Memories flooded in, sharp, jagged ones. Dad wasn't cruel, not really, but he was a stranger in my life, always distant, like I was a puzzle he couldn't solve. His voice booming over spilled milk, forgotten chores. Grades that didn't shine enough, it left scars, made me feel small. Mom was my shield, stepping in with soft words, but their fights echoed in my head, his frustration a wall I could never climb. I tried to recall warmth, his hand ruffling my hair, a proud smile, but those moments were rare, drowned by the cold. Mom was my everything. Her hugs erased the worst days, her laughter lit up the dark. Without her, I'd been adrift, lost in a storm with no harbor. Thinking of her soothed me, and I drifted off, clinging to her memory like a lifeline. Morning came, and I found Dad by the motel window, staring at the empty lot. His shoulders sagged, his face etched deeper with lines in the pale light. He turned when I stirred, forcing a smile. "Morning, birthday girl," he said. Voice strained with cheer. "18's a big one, huh?" "Yeah," I mumbled, stretching. "Feels the same so far." He chuckled, but it was hollow. "Well, maybe this'll change that." He grabbed a small envelope from his bag, handing it to me with a shaky grip. "Your gift," he said, lighter now, but still burdened. "Something important." I took it. The worn edges rough against my fingers. "What is it?" I asked, searching his face. His expression flickered, uncertain. "Wait," he said, quieter. "Don't open it yet. Keep it sealed till San Francisco. Promise me, Lily." I nodded, tucking it into my bag. "Okay, I promise." He exhaled, relief softening him just a bit. "Good. Now, let's hit the road. Birthday breakfast on me." At the diner, he ordered me pancakes piled high with whipped cream, a candle stabbed into the top. "Can't have a birthday without cake," he grinned. But his voice wavered. I smiled back, trying to match him, but that envelope burned in my mind. The drive that day was quieter, the air thick with unspoken things. He pointed out landmarks. Played oldies on the radio, but his heart wasn't in it. I'd catch him stealing glances, jaw tight, like he was bracing for a storm. By afternoon, San Francisco's skyline loomed against the sinking sun. He went silent crossing the bridge, gripping the wheel like it was his last anchor. "We're almost there," he murmured, voice low. "Hotel first." We pulled into a modest hotel lot, and he just sat there, staring ahead. "You okay, Dad?" I asked, tentative. He nodded too fast. "Just tired," he said, climbing out before I could push. "Inside." He dropped his bag and checked his watch. "Settle in," he said, forcing calm. "I've got a place to take you tonight." "A place?" I asked, curious. He smiled faintly, dodging my eyes. "Somewhere special. Trust me, you'll like it." Nervousness edged his voice, but I wanted to believe it was good. "Okay." I shrugged. "Let me freshen up." In the bathroom. I let myself hope, maybe a nice dinner, a spot Mom loved. For a moment, I felt a spark of excitement. We drove into the city, its pulse alive with neon and noise. Dad stayed quiet, navigating with focus. "So," I teased, "you gonna tell me where we're going, or is this the surprise?" He glanced over, a ghost of a smile. "Surprise. Just enjoy the ride." I leaned against the window, the city blurring past, daring to believe this was something good. But as the streets narrowed and dimmed, unease crept back. We stopped on a shadowy street. In front of a weathered house, chipped paint, sagging porch. He cut the engine, and the silence hit like a punch. "This is it?" I asked, confusion sharp. "What are we doing here?" He didn't answer. Just stared at the house, hands trembling on the wheel. "Lily," he said, voice shaking. "I need to tell you something. It's not going to be easy." My chest tightened. "What is it, Dad?" "You're scaring me." He took a ragged breath, running a hand through his graying hair. "There's something I've kept from you. Too long. After your mom died, I thought about telling you 1,000 times. But I couldn't. I was terrified of how you'd see me. What did it do to us?" I said nothing, my throat closing as he fought his words. "You've probably wondered why I was such a lousy dad, distant, angry. I hated myself for it, Lily, because it was never your fault. Never." He gripped the wheel harder. "When your mom and I got married, we dreamed of kids. She'd talk about it endlessly, our family. All that love. But I couldn't give her that. It broke me, made me feel worthless. I turned bitter, pushed her away when I should have held on. She was stronger, though. She convinced me adoption was just as beautiful. She was right, but I couldn't see it. I was drowning in shame. His voice broke, tears glinting in his eyes. When we brought you home, I wanted to be the dad you deserved. But every time I looked at you, I saw my failure, what I couldn't give her. I pushed you away to shield you from me, but it only hurt you. I loathe myself for that. I was crying now, silent rivers down my face. When your mom died, it gutted me. I saw how much I'd failed you, how much time I'd lost. That's why I've been trying, Lil, to fix what I broke. Even if I can't. He paused, trembling. You're 18 now. We promised we'd tell you the truth when you hit 18. But without her, I didn't know how. You deserve it, though. You need to know. He met my eyes, raw and wrecked. Lily, you're adopted. We brought you home as a baby. We wanted you to know when you could understand. The word hit me like a tidal wave, adopted. My world spun. Reality fracturing. I couldn't speak, couldn't move. He kept going, softer now. I know it's too much, too late. I couldn't hide it anymore. The car felt like a cage. Why? I choked out. Tears strangling me. Why wait till she's gone? I can't even talk to her about it. His head dropped, shame crushing him. I know, he whispered. She wanted to tell you sooner, but I was a coward. After she died, I didn't know how to do it alone. I turned on him, fury and grief colliding. And this house? Why are we here? He swallowed hard. It's where your biological mother lives. We thought you might want to know her, where you came from. It's your call. I'll stand by you. He nodded to the glove compartment. Get the envelope. My hands shook as I pulled it out. The paper inside heavy with truth. Open it, he said, staring ahead. I unfolded it. A birth certificate, my birth certificate. The name under mother wasn't Mom's. It was a stranger's. Stark and real. What is this? I whispered. It's the truth, Lily, he said, voice thick. It's where you started. I traced the name, my heart a tangled mess. Then I saw it, a shadow behind the curtains, a figure peeking out. My breath caught. Is that? I couldn't finish. He nodded. Her. Your biological mother. The air grew heavy. My mind a storm of questions. The figure lingered, a dim outline against the light. What do I do? I murmured, lost. He stayed quiet, then said, It's your choice, Lily. I brought you here because you deserve to know. Whatever you want, I'm here. And now I sit here, my world flipped upside down. It's my choice, but how do I choose? Meeting her could answer the ache. Who is she? Why'd she let me go? Does she wonder about me? But what if it's too much? My life's been messy, but it's mine, Mom's love, Dad's effort. What if she rejects me, or worse, changes nothing? I don't know if I'm ready. What would you do? Knock on that door? Or drive away and hold tight to what I've got? Tell me, I'm drowning here.